Welcome to the debate. When we examine a sociocultural artifact like Linkin Park's Sorry for Now from the 2017 record One More Light, we are fundamentally witnessing a brilliant, structurally courageous piece of vulnerability. It utilizes this pristine pop production to mirror the public facade of a touring musician, which
I come at it from a different way. You say courageous, but I hear a focus-grouped corporate spreadsheet. Let's just be brutally honest here.
I wouldn't call it a spreadsheet.
Its heavy reliance on generic future-based trends is jarring. It completely obscures any raw emotional core with, frankly, auditory beige.
Auditory beige? I mean, look, we have to examine the actual genesis of this track before we dismiss it. During these sessions, they inverted their entire methodology. Working with Justin Parker, they adopted this meaning and melody-first philosophy.
Right, because when your industrial rock engine runs out of steam, you hire a London pop writer.
No, it's about narrative architecture. Historically, they built the instrumental wall of noise first, right? But here, the track is a direct, deeply personal apology from Mike Shinoda to his children. Watching the wings cut through the clouds. That is a profound placement of the listener in an airplane cabin.
Sure, the premise is fine.
It's more than fine. He takes the lead vocal himself, delivering it with this natural, almost hesitant cadence. It is an incredibly sincere confession. It's one of their most vulnerable works.
I acknowledge the conceptual premise of a father's apology. Yes, it's a powerful idea on paper, but the sonic execution entirely murders it. We're talking about 2015 to 2017 here. Future bass was an inescapable virus on mainstream radio.
Which makes it an accessible vehicle for...
It makes it algorithm-thirsty. This track's use of vocal sample drops reeks of desperation.
I hear your point about the production style, but how can you say it sterilizes the message? Doesn't adopting a modern vernacular actually serve as a highly effective vehicle for getting that deep emotion across?
A vehicle? It's an assembly line. Let's look at the mechanics of a vocal chop for a second. You take a human breath, you slice it into microscopic fractions, you apply the surgical precision of pitch correction to remove any natural waver, and then you noise gate it.
Well, yes, that is the technique.
You are surgically removing the human throat. You are erasing any semblance of human grit. The raw guilt Shinoda is writing about gets vacuum sealed into this sanitized for your protection TikTok bait drop.
I see why you think that, but you're missing the profound juxtaposition. The clash between those upbeat synthetic pop snaps and the heartbreaking lyrics is entirely intentional.
Oh, please. Intentional.
It is. Think about the actual working conditions of a stadium rock star. You stand on a brightly lit stage projecting pure, frictionless joy to tens of thousands of people. That upbeat future bass arrangement, that is the stage lighting. It's the public facade.
The performative joy. Right.
Exactly. While privately, the lyrics are the agonizing separation. They are simulating their own cognitive dissonance of life on tour. It's his gorgeous postcard analogy. Glossy picture on the front, devastating confession on the back.
That is a lovely, flowery excuse for trend chasing. Have you considered the actual physiological reality of listening to it?
I think the listening experience is incredibly poignant.
When that post-chorus breakdown hits with those high-pitched chipmunk vocal chops, it doesn't read as a poignant meta-commentary. It reads as a midlife crisis attempt to stay relevant. It registers as emotionally confused.
You really feel the vocal manipulation creates that much distance?
It absolutely creates distance. When I hear those stutters, I'm not feeling a father's pain. I feel like I'm trapped in a fast fashion retail store. Critics at Sputnik Music called it a miserable failure for a very good reason.
Critics often miss the subtext when a band shifts genres so radically.
You filter serious human trauma through an extreme pitch shifter, and the emotion is swallowed by a production gimmick.
I'm not convinced by that line of reasoning, mostly because calling it a gimmick ignores the sheer technical ambition. The architecture of this track is incredibly complex. Let's actually unpack the machinery.
Oh, it's a marvel of industrial engineering, I'll give you that. They brought in a small army of outside hitmakers. Black Bear, Andrew Goldstein, Michael Keenan, and then, the absolute nail in the coffin, they handed the final mix to Serban.
And Serban Ghenea is arguably the most brilliant mixer of the 21st century.
For mass-produced pop commodities, yes. His whole philosophy is frequency perfection. Every single instrument gets an isolated, mathematically flawless pocket of EQ. It is designed to have an overcompressed dynamic range, so it sounds identically loud on every Spotify playlist.
It provides clarity.
But rock music requires frequency friction.
You mean, instruments bleeding into each other?
Yes! A real mix is a sonic war zone. The bass guitar and the kick drum physically fighting for space. When you hand it to Serban, you remove all that friction. Look at Brad Delson's guitars. The man is a phenomenal player, and his parts were processed so heavily they sound identical to a synthesizer preset. The band's instrumental DNA was erased.
Erased? No, it was evolved. If you actually listen to the isolated instrumental stems they released, it reveals something astonishing. He traded obvious distortion for these delicate, interlocking layers.
Oh, so he evolved into a MIDI keyboard. Wonderful.
He evolved the texture. The goal wasn't a dominant solo instrument. It was blending sources so seamlessly they become a new sonic landscape. That's sophisticated electronic production. Tracking vocals in Vancouver and London, assembling the music in Los Angeles, it's a modern global tapestry.
They willingly chose the exact same paint-by-numbers kit as every other producer that year. You bring in Andrew Goldstein, you are choosing mainstream pop architecture. And the unavoidable consequence is homogenization.
I don't see homogenization at all. Honestly, I see a massive subversion in expectations. And the ultimate proof of that, the real genius moment, is the bridge.
Here we go. The role reversal.
Yes. For 17 years, they conditioned our brains. The formula was ruthlessly effective. Mike raps to build tension, Chester sings or screams the release. But here, they intentionally dismantle their own blueprint. Mike takes the gentle melody and suddenly, Chester drops this fast, staccato, trap-influenced rap.
Right, because nothing says genuine emotion like a legacy rock vocalist adopting a triplet flow trap cadence.
Switch your time zones, can't pick the pace up. It is aggressive. It literally breaks your auditory conditioning. It perfectly represents the jet lag and physical exhaustion he's rapping about.
I will grant you that Chester's sheer vocal versatility is a historical marvel. The man could do anything. But we have to look at how it serves the cohesive unit.
It serves it brilliantly by providing contrast.
It doesn't bind. He drops this aggressive trap flow into the middle of a bubbly, snapping, brightly lit electropop soundscape. It's like trying to weld industrial scrap metal onto the hood of a sterile corporate Tesla.
The friction is the point.
The trap rap has sharp edges, but the synth pop is completely frictionless. They physically repel each other. It sounds like two entirely different songs stitched together in a boardroom. It's an identity crisis in real time.
That jaggedness is exactly what makes it a brilliant reflection of reality. Human emotion, especially a parent's guilt, is not a smooth, monolithic thing. It is messy. Having Chester deliver the bitter exhaustion while Mike delivers the quiet apology captures that entire profound psychological spectrum.
We have to be very careful not to project profound philosophical intent onto what is simply a legacy band desperately trying to maintain commercial relevance.
It is not desperation.
Sometimes a pitch-shifted vocal drop isn't a metaphor for touring isolation. Sometimes it's just a focus grouped attempt to grab the main character energy demographic.
Reducing this highly collaborative process to commercial desperation completely ignores their deep intentionality. Yes, Sorry for Now is definitively a pop song. Yes, it uses contemporary production, but it archives something deeply painful. It's a masterclass in blending vulnerable reality with meticulous studio craft.
And I remain steadfast that the emotional weight was swallowed by an overproduced, algorithm-thirsty sound. You prioritize flawless gloss and surgical perfection. You sacrifice the breath that makes the emotion palpable.
Well, I think there is a profound point of convergence we both must recognize here as we step back.
Oh, must we?
Yes. Regardless of your disdain for the pop mixing philosophies, the raw thematic core is undeniable. The profound internal conflict of balancing family love with global touring obligations is genuine. It's a truly brave vulnerability for a band built on a very different kind of angst.
Sure. Writing about the quiet guilt of leaving an empty chair at the dinner table is objectively brave. I won't deny the premise.
And it resonated. Over 68 million streams on Spotify. And honestly, if you explore the live versions from Mike's solo tours, where he incorporated actual acoustic drum solos from musicians like Dan Mayo, you hear how this song bridges pop and rock. Real physical drums breathe life back into the composition.
Or perhaps it just proves that the only way to salvage a vacuum-sealed corporate product is to desperately try and play it like a real band before the algorithm forgets you exist.